What's up, everyone? Mike here, hanging out on the mushroom farm, and I just did a simple batch of grain spawn, alright? So, I've put up previous videos how to do a no prep method of grain spawn, and I'm going to link that in the description box below. That's one of my favorite ways, if not my favorite way, to make grain spawn. And that involves vermiculite, though, as well as grain. Now, this recipe right here is grain only, okay? So I'm going to go over this entirely with you today, step by step, and we'll talk about how I put this together. This is another great alternative. If I'm not using my no prep method, this is the next one I'm doing, okay? So today, basically, I'm going to teach you a simple soak method, how to make your own grain spawn. Now, I'm going to show some clips right up here. Basically, the first thing I do is I take my grain, and I put that grain into a 5-gallon bucket, all right? Now I have two buckets together. One of the buckets, the one that I put the grain in, has holes in it, okay? And that allows for drainage. The bottom bucket is just a regular, solid 5-gallon bucket. And I basically make it where I can slip that grain bucket with the holes in it into the solid bucket, all right? That way, what we can do, because we're gonna soak this grain for 24 to 36 hours, and then you're just going to pick that top bucket up and strain out the water. Okay, that's all you got to do. Now, you can use hot water in your soak. If you use hot water in your soak, it can help it hydrate it up and speed up the process a little more, but it really doesn't matter. You can just use cold or room temperature water or hot water, and they'll both work effectively. But I let my grains soak for 24 to 36 hours. I pull out that top bucket, and then I just let it drip dry, okay? Then go back with a scoop, and you can scoop out your grain, and you can put it right into the bags that you're going to use. Now, I use these 3T ultra thick spawn bags, and I just want to say, first time I've ever used the ultra thick version. I've used the 3T bag many times myself, and I actually made a video about just kind of like what my initial thoughts were of it. And I'll just tell you right now, after doing the full cook, my thoughts on this 3T extra thick is they're great, okay? And I'll show you when I inoculated these bags and just shook them up, just feeling the bag, shaking up the grain inside the bag, you could tell you have a really sturdy bag you're working with. I didn't feel at all like it was going to puncture. My impulse sealer, everything sealed it perfectly, so I just want to say as far as that's concerned, that worked great. I can tell the bags have a wonderful seal on them, so I almost can't recommend these extra thick bags enough. So from the standard 3T, they were 2.2 millimeters, and they just stepped it up to a 3 millimeter thickness on the extra thick bag, but totally like it, major fan of it. Now, basically, the technique is, after you bag up your grain into your spawn bags, you want to make sure, like I said, you have about 5 to 7 pounds of grain in this type of bag that I'm using here, this 3T. If you go more than that, you will have problems, okay? Some people wonder, why don't you just fill it up all the way? The mycelium can't breathe properly, and it just doesn't work out. Trust me, I've tried it back in the, because I'm that type of dude that really I would try to maximize it, put as much as you can in there, and it's really not worth it. Like, if you just get in the zone of 5 to 7 pounds, you're totally maximizing it. Don't do any more than you need to, because grain spawn is such an effective tool anyway. We don't need to really overfill these bags because they can do you more harm than good. Now, you fill the bags up. I like to put on these clothesline pins on there, okay? Some people have different methods. It helps me kind of keep my bags together when I load them into the pressure cooker. Sometimes they come off during the cook, sometimes they don't, but it really doesn't matter. The bags still maintain that nice fold I put on the top of it. That always keeps a nice little seal on it. The bags, when they cool, they will kind of suck down just due to the difference in heat. So what I like to do too, because what it will do is it'll draw in air when your pressure cooker is cooling down. I like to put my pressure cookers in front of the flow hood on cool down, okay? So you could put a pressure cooker in like a still air box on cool down, or in front of your flow hood on cool down if you're really concerned about it sucking in dirty air. Some people will also put tape over the pressure indicator that pops up, because when that pressure indicator falls down, that's where the air can escape in. But I've seen people put tape over that too, and that will stop any air from coming in if it's cooling down somewhere where it's not in front of the flow hood or not in your still air box. Now, I want to say, as far as pressure cooking grains, you want to pressure cook your grains this style, the way I like to do it. If I'm using a stovetop pressure cooker, cooking at 15 psi, I pressure cook my grains 3 hours, okay? 2.5 to 3 hours. I would never go under 2.5 hours in a 5 to 7 pound bag with a 15 psi pressure cooker. Some autoclaves that achieve higher pressures, you can cut down on your sterilization time, but that'll be specific to your application. Now, I let the bags cool off in front of my flow hood, and I let them reach room temperature, and then it's time to inoculate them. So I'm just gonna show you inoculating them with a liquid culture. I have 4 different liquid cultures here, and I basically inoculated my bags today with the Hericium americanum, the bear's head, a blue oyster, the coral tooth mushroom, and a golden oyster. And I just wanted to kind of mix it up. I'm about to run a whole nother batch to back to this, and then that one I'll be inoculating lion's mane, pink oyster, aspen oyster, king oyster. I might even do some more, do black pearl king. I really want to send it, give you guys a lot of cool variety, and plus I want to have some good variety here for the local CSA and just anyone locally looking to buy mushrooms from me. I really just kind of want to show them what I got right away, and they can let me know which ones they want the most of. And I kind of recommend that too for any of you other farmers out there. If you're wondering what does your local community want, you can ask your local people first of all too. You might know there's some interest. I already know just because I have a lot of previous farming experience what kind of mushrooms are popular amongst different crowds of people. But ask around, and then when in doubt, just grow a bunch of them and see what people like. And then honestly, it's wise to see what are your biggest sellers and kind of double down on those and maybe cut out some of the other ones then too, just so you don't spread yourself too thin in any means. That's what I like to personally do. Because once I kind of get the ball rolling here, I might have some mushrooms I offer more so seasonally during certain times, but if there's a certain demand for a mushroom locally and I feel like I need to meet that demand, I will double down hard on that and pursue that. And that way I can be a profitable farm then, and I can meet the local demand and make everybody here happy, you know? So just some things to keep in mind when you're thinking about spawning your bags, what cultures you're inoculating them with, how many different cultures you want to do. But like I said, I did 4 here today, and I'm going to keep doing some more of these next few days. So that was my basic method on how I like to make this overnight soak grain. You can do this with all different types of grains. I've typically done oats, but you could also do like rye, you could do millet, you could do milo, all sorts of grains work in this overnight soaking fashion. But I hope you guys found this video helpful and informative, and if you did, please drop this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But that's all I got for you on this one, and I will catch you guys on the next one.